reasons for traveling, vacation, conferences. So we're gonna go ahead and record this and share it with them afterwards. Let me see if I can do that. Alzira, can you actually record, Alzira? You have permission to do that?
Recording.
Thank you.
Thank you for remembering to do that. All right, Maria, shall we get started?
I think so. I think 71 participants is a good number to start with.
Good. All right, let's go ahead and get started then. I want to first of all thank you for taking the time to meet with us this morning on your last full week of our summer revelry, or at least for some of us. Others have been working all throughout the summer as well, but thank you for being here. And I also want to thank you for your willingness to serve in this particular capacity. This is my, gosh, I haven't counted up the number of years that I've served on the Senate. This is really my second go around. I served for a while and then rotated off and then came back as well. Personally, I find this rewarding service. It's an important part of what we do in terms of our collective governance and our voice with the administration, particularly in representing the views, the concerns, the desires of our colleagues as well. So thank you. Thank you for being willing to serve in this capacity. It's good to see many of you. I've worked with many of you in the past in a variety of capacities, and it's good to see you. And for those I haven't yet met, I look forward to making your acquaintance and working together on this. Every year is a new and different year with its own unique twists and turns. This one is going to prove to be no different. I think everything, the things that are in front of us right now, we're all aware of in terms of the complicated political picture that we have that we didn't have, I would say, a year ago in terms when we were in the middle of the pandemic. We have a different political picture now, which then has a direct impact on our policies at ASU. I don't see those as roadblocks per se. They are things to be worked with and worked around, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do that. So again, as we move forward in this year, I'm aware that these issues in terms of our COVID policy are very much on our minds. But also, again, I just want to signal for you that we're in a different political environment now that shapes what ABOR can and can't do, and consequently what we can and can't do as well. But not to get off on that subject, but I just want to acknowledge that these are some of the interesting challenges that we have before us this academic year. And I look forward to taking them on. I promise you I will not back down in making sure that we have as much protection as we can as we continue to work and dialogue with the administration. I know that they're eager as well to keep everyone safe in this environment that we're in now. Let me start off by doing one last thing. I want to read to you from the preamble of the Constitution. If you haven't had a chance to read the Senate Constitution, I recommend that you take some time to do that. If you go to usenate.asu.edu and just go all the way to the right side and you'll see about. If you pull that up, there are a number of important documents that frame the activities of the University Senate. But I just want to read to you the preamble that hopefully kind of frames what we do and what we're going to talk about for today in particular. And it's relatively short. University governance requires communication and collaboration among faculty, staff, students, and administration. Collective wisdom improves decisions, promotes consensus, and builds trust. The faculty and academic professionals of Arizona State University, through this Constitution, provide for the organization and procedures by which they may effectively contribute to the governance of the university in support of its collective effort to promote the economic, social, cultural, and environmental health of the communities it serves. There are hereby created the Academic Assembly, the University Senate, and the University Academic Council. So we're going to break down some of those terms so that you understand what we're referring to as we make reference to the Academic Assembly, the UAC, the University Academic Council, as well as the University Senate as well. So Maria, if you would go back to the PowerPoint presentation, and let me just go ahead and let's hit slide number 2. And this is what we're going to cover for today, just so you have an overview of this. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the University Senate and step back and kind of provide for you a larger picture. Oh, back up one slide, if you will, to slide 2. Thank you. We'll have some breakout rooms. And the question that I'd like to hear from you is, first of all, I'd like you to introduce yourself to each other because, you know, ASU being a very large place, there are colleagues that are across the hall that sometimes we want to have an opportunity to meet. So I always value the opportunity to get to know my colleagues. So I'd like you to introduce yourselves to one another in these breakout rooms. But I do have a question for you, and I would like to hear what are the top 3 issues that you would like the University Senate to address? I can guess what they might be, but I want to hear from you as well. So if you would share that together and have someone among you decide to kind of gather them together and summarize as we report back. I'd love to hear what's most on your mind. And of course, this is not to be not to be the end of the conversation, but the beginning of the conversation that we'll have together throughout this academic year. All right, and then finally, Maria, if you would just back up one more time to that slide. Thanks. Maria is going to go over the new iClicker voting system that we're going to have, and then we'll come back to an orientation presentation, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We're scheduled to go for 90 minutes, if I remember correctly, Maria. I am one who very much values your time. I don't intend to go over. We may by a few minutes, and I offer my apology on the outset, but again, you know my commitment to respect your time and what you're doing. So I want to keep this as close to 90 minutes as possible. So if we would do this then, Maria, I guess let's go ahead and move over to the University Senate. This would be slide number 3, I believe. There we go, the university. So here's what I'd like to do. I want to step back for just a moment and share with you my observations and my understanding of how the university works. Based on my years of service in the University Senate, but I've also had a few rotations in the university administration as well. And even then, I learned things from working on the inside that I never quite understood as a faculty member, even as a university center. So I want to share with you just some observations. So if you move over to the next slide. So you're all familiar, of course, with President Crow. You're familiar with Nancy Gonzalez, who serves as the provost, the executive vice president, and also the chief academic officer as well. What I want to point out though, and this was always my understanding as, you know, for years until I actually worked in the provost office, is I always looked to the provost as the kind of vice president of ASU, that right next to Michael Crow, then comes the provost. Well, what I discovered in working in the administration, the provost office, is that there are actually 4 executive vice presidents. And the provost is one of those 4. The other 3 are Morgan Olson, and you've heard from him from time to time, but I want to explain a little bit about what he does. Sally Morton from Knowledge Enterprise, and of course that's a significant part of what we do as a university in terms of our research agenda, and then the Learning Enterprise as well. And the Learning Enterprise really encapsulates all those other educational opportunities that we provide to the communities that we serve. From kindergarten all the way to retired population, that's a significant part of what we do. So my point is that the provost, at least again, speaking to my understanding that I had before I served in the provost office, the provost doesn't really function as a vice president per se, not in the way that if you think about the president of the United States and then Kamala Harris as vice president. There are actually 4. And we will from time to time interact with some of the other 3 university executive vice presidents. But I want you to understand that the picture of how ASU is run is much more diverse than just this kind of this vertical organizational structure. It's much broader than that. Now, but Maria, if you go to the next slide, I just want to focus in on Morgan Olson in particular, just to give you an example of how diverse this university is, this enterprise is that we're involved in, how enormous it is, and how significant the executive vice presidents are. So as you recall, some of the recent communications that we received about the updated COVID policy came from both Morgan Olson and Nancy Gonzalez. Morgan Olson, I hope this screen is big enough for you to see this. There are a lot of university services that we interact with as university faculty that report directly to Morgan, not to the provost, but to Morgan. And I just point this out because Morgan Olson is a very significant individual. For example, UTO, directly reports to Morgan. The ASU PD, again, directly reports to Morgan. Let's see, there are others as well that I'm not able to quite read with my glasses. But again, if you see all of those gold bars, those are all significant parts of ASU that directly go through Morgan Olson. And so we'll have an opportunity to hear from Morgan during the University Senate. But again, I just share this with you because I want you to understand how big, how broad the administrative structure is. We interact primarily with Nancy Gonzalez as the university provost and as the chief academic officer. Our direct report, if you will, is through her. But there are other parts of the university that have direct report to other university executive vice presidents. So, all right, now with that, let's go ahead and advance to the next slide. And let's talk a little bit about the big picture in terms of how the university works. So I'm going to spend the next few slides kind of explaining the setup, the makeup of the University Senate. We don't operate like the US Senate. So we don't have a bicameral assembly. My relationship or my position, my role as the president of the UAC, the University Academic Council, and as president of the University Senate doesn't function the same way in which the president of the United States functions. I have no veto power, for example. In fact, I don't even think the term executive branch would apply to anything that the University Senate does or the University Senate president does. So if you just kind of step back for a moment, we have a number of standing committees. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them that are a regular part of what we do. And I will explain what those committees are in just a moment. But we have a number of standing committees. You'll have the opportunity to serve on a variety of committees. It's important work. Those committees report then to the University Academic Council. The University Academic Council is the body of elected Senate leaders from every campus. So from Poly to downtown to West to Tempe as well. Every campus has a president-elect, a president, and a past president. And so every campus has 3 representatives that sit at the University Council as we meet together. All of the reports, or many of the reports, I should say, many of the reports of these committees, when it becomes appropriate, reports to the University Senate. And it's the University Senate that's really empowered to accept the recommendations of these various committees. As I said before, as president, I have no veto power in any of that. Not that I would want that, but the reason why the university president is here as well is because I do have the opportunity to sit in close counsel with the provost, with the president, with a variety of the upper administration, if you will, and a variety of bodies, of decision-making bodies. And that is my responsibility, is to represent the will of the University Senate and the University Academic Council as well. So that's the other reason why I'm there. Again, it's not in this hierarchical fashion. Unfortunately, we've talked about how to best represent that, and it doesn't quite work here. But just so you understand that really it's the University Senate that holds that power of accepting the recommendations of the committees that then issue their reports. And so your role as a senator is a very powerful role. So next slide, please. Now, in terms of representation, again, we have faculty members or academic associate or academic professionals. They constitute the academic assembly. They are, and all of our colleagues, 3,000 plus faculty members that we have at ASU, that is the academic assembly. As a University Senate, you are elected representatives of various units within ASU. And if I remember correctly, Muddy, I think the number is 40. Is that the correct number, or did we bump that down in terms of the number of faculty who then have a representative?
Tell me the question again, I'm sorry.
Yes, so for units, for every 40 faculty member, I think we, those
39,
40,
yeah.
was it 39? Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yes, one for every 39 full-time faculty and
Thank you.
academic professionals.
All right, thank you. All right, so this is part of what you are empowered to do by ABOR policy and by the University Senate Constitution, is you have the power as the Senate to act for and represent the academic assembly. In other words, our colleagues under the existing regulations and matters in all matters, including but not limited to academic affairs, faculty student policies, financial issues, personnel issues, university services and facilities. And that we work together, as the preamble stated, to enhance the reputation of the university, as well as communicate the outstanding accomplishments of our faculty and academic professionals as well. So this is the important role of representation that you have as University Senate. All right, next slide, please. Now, how does, as I mentioned before, how does the university work? Again, it's not a bicameral assembly that we're used to in the national picture. There are, I would characterize them as 4 constituent bodies of communication that work together. So the Senate presidents and the secretary is one part of that. There's the University Academic Council. And of course, we meet regularly as the elected representatives of the different campuses. There's the executive committee as well. Now, this is the University Academic Council, again, the elected representatives of each campus, in addition to the committee chairs. We meet regularly as well together. And of course, University Senate and office staff is a critical role in helping all of this move forward. And so I just want to recognize Maria Coca and Alzira Lopes as well. I think we've got a slide that will show you their picture in just a moment, but I just want to acknowledge the important work that we do in keeping this all together and moving forward as well. So again, as we think about how the University Senate runs, it's really in these kind of 4 constituent assemblies that work in harmony and constant communication with each other, again, to represent the faculty, our needs, our concerns to the administration, and also to enact policies as needed as well. All right, next slide. So this is, again, just to show you who the presidents are and the secretary of the University Senate. There I am, of course, when I think I was much younger. I've got to update my picture. Johanna Yuri Glover, president of the downtown Phoenix campus. Chris Gaselka, longtime member of the University Senate, who is serving as the Polytechnic campus president. LaDon Haglin, the Tempe campus president, and Mary Burleson as the West Campus president. And Phil Vandermeer, many of you will know Phil. Phil also has longtime service on the University Senate. In fact, I don't think it's too much to say that much of how we understand the Senate and the way that the Senate functions probably traces back in some way to the hard work that Phil put in years ago. So Phil has agreed to serve as the secretary for the University Senate and for the Academic Assembly as well. And I'm grateful for Phil's service. Even though he's now emeritus, he's agreed to step forward and to help as we collectively push forward. Next slide, please. All right, so there's a picture, as I promised before. There's Maria. Hopefully you're all familiar with her. There's Alzira as well. 2 critical pieces in how the University Senate function on a day-to-day basis. And so again, just to recognize the 2 of them and thank them for their hard work and their dedication to our governance, our shared governance. So as I explained before, the University Academic Council, this slide just breaks it down just a little bit more about who the Academic Council is. We meet together, I believe it's monthly, is it not, Maria?
Yes, monthly.
Yes, it's monthly. So we meet together as the elected presidents, past, current serving, and future or elected to discuss the issues, to meet often with the provost. Often the provost is present at that meeting, as well as Deb Clark in her capacity as the executive, as the vice provost for personnel. So they are frequently at those meetings. Often we meet with the president as well as the UIC. So again, this is a very important body in communicating the concerns of the faculty to the administration. And then there's the executive committee. As I mentioned before, this is the UIC, and all of the committee chairs meet together to discuss the work of the committees and to also discuss what is going to happen in the University Senate meetings as well. All right, next slide, please. Now, just to identify who they are, these are the chairs of the various positions that are serving. Again, I thank you all who have stepped forward, who agreed to serve as chairs during this coming academic year. We do have a few positions that have yet to be decided. And so let me just throw this out that if you have an interest in serving in a capacity of either in governance grievance or personnel, please let me know. I'm always happy to work with people who are willing to step forward. And so as we move into the academic year, we will fill those positions. But again, I invite and encourage you to step forward if you have an interest in serving as a chair of one of these committees. So next slide, please. This is where we kind of break down what each of these committees are. And let me just summarize. You'll be able to read them as your own, but let me just summarize very quickly. And I hope that I don't shortchange any of the work of the university committees. The Library Liaison Committee, this is a very important committee that works with the university libraries and its capacity all throughout ASU in many different locations on issues relating to university services, collections, innovations, software. So this is an important committee. And as you all know, the library is an important part of what we do as academics and as professionals, as university professors. The Personnel Committee, as the title implies, this is a committee that looks over the clarification and formulation of policies and procedures that affect faculty and academic professionals, as specified, of course, in the Constitution. Research and Creative Activity Committees, this serves as a review body for the policies that are in place to make sure that we're in compliance with our intentions and our goals and with the Constitution and with the ACD, which, as I mentioned, the ACD, if you have not yet taken the opportunity to read the ACD, just go to the ASU website and type in ACD, and you'll pull up the manual. The ACD is really the manual that that describes all of the policies that affect us as faculty members at ASU. I encourage you to read through it. It's important to know what your rights are and what the obligations are as well. And so again, if you've not yet read through that, I encourage you to do that. Of course, I'm kind of a dictionary geek. I will admit to that. As a young man, I would read through dictionaries just for the fascination of learning what words were, but also in the encyclopedias. So this is kind of my inclination, but I do recommend that you do that because it's very informative. Finally, the Student Faculty Policy Committee, at least finally for this slide. And as you can imagine, this is our interface and with the undergraduate student government, the graduate student government as well. As we work together on policies and procedures that have an impact on our experiences here at ASU. So next slide, please. This is the last set that we'll go over in terms of the committees that we have. Grievance Committee. I've served on this committee in the past. You do have the right as a faculty member in decisions that are made in over your professional life, promotions, decisions of that nature, if you believe that a policy has not been applied appropriately. If you believe that there are issues that are not being heard or taken into account, as a faculty member, you have the opportunity to bring it to the grievance committee, and they will review these grievances. And they do on a regular basis meet and review a number of grievances that faculty have brought forward in relationship to how the university is run. So this is an important service that the grievance committee and its committee members serve for us. The Committee on Committees is an important committee to make sure that all of the committees are staffed appropriately, that they're running appropriately, but also in overseeing the elections that we have every year. This is important to make sure that our elections are transparent and that they appropriate or that they function appropriately as well. So the Committee on Committees is a very important committee that we have as well. The one that you will probably hear most from, all committees will make the reports to the Senate throughout the academic year, but on a regular basis, you will hear most from the Curriculum and Academic Programs Committee. This one, as the title implies, this is the committee that oversees all proposed changes to courses, to programs, to degrees. They're all vetted first through this committee, which are then presented to you as a Senate. And let me point this out as well. As a Senate, you have the right, and indeed I would argue the responsibility, to review what is proposed by CAPC to make sure that all concerns of faculty have been heard, when it comes to either the disestablishment of programs, the creation of new courses, or the establishment of programs. Again, as you know, this is a very large enterprise. Best case scenario, we do all due diligence to talk to one another, to work together, to make sure that new curricular proposals are not stepping on other programs. That doesn't always work. Again, it's not, I don't think there are any bad actions on individuals, but it's a very large enterprise. And this is an opportunity that you have then in representing your colleagues to review what is being proposed in terms of classes or programs, and to look them over. Now, you don't have to look at every one that comes forward. As I've served in the Senate, I've looked at the ones that I know impact my particular unit that I've represented. But if you wish to avail yourself and look through all of the proposed new courses or program changes, you may certainly do that. I don't want to suggest that's required, but certainly as they impact your programs, this is your opportunity. And as these changes are proposed on the floor of the Senate, you have an opportunity to ask for something to be flagged for further discussion before it moves on for approval by the Senate. So again, it's an important part of the work of this committee, but it's an important part of the work that you do as a senator. Finally, we do have an ad hoc committee. This is digitally enhanced teaching and learning. As you all know, we're in a new mode of learning. I am interfacing as we speak with technology that wasn't a part of my wildest dreams when I was in graduate school. And so it helps to have colleagues who are adept and who are attuned to changes coming down the road, to software and to programs that are important to what we do in our various capacities, that review these programs and recommend them for adoption at ASU. It's very important work that they do. Finally, the executive committee, again, as I mentioned before, this is the executive committee of all of the committee chairs and all of the members of the UAC. These are the elected representatives of each of the campuses that we meet together regularly. I just want to say this as well, and this is my own personal observation, having served for a number of years on the executive committee in the UAC as well. This is, Tempe is a very large program, as you know. It's a very large campus. The majority of ASU resides physically at the Tempe campus. But ASU is not exclusive to Tempe. There's important work that goes on at the other campuses as well. And this is an important opportunity to make sure that the concerns that are local to those campuses, that are not always functional at the Tempe campus, are heard and concerned, or are heard and reviewed. And so this is part of the important work of the executive committee and the UAC as well. All right, so next slide, please. The role of the senators. I think at this point, Maria, I turn it over to you if I'm correct.
That is correct. Yes.
All right.
But we're going to go ahead and save this portion of the presentation for the end of the program. Right now, I would like to go into, just to kind of break up the program a little bit, like to go into the breakout session. So I'll go ahead and go back to that slide so that we can remember. So last year we did a little bit different. We were, we didn't really trust technology. We didn't really understand Zoom very well. So we went ahead and tried to micromanage everything by assigning everybody into a room. We assigned a room leader to kind of take charge. This year we're a little bit more comfortable with Zoom, and we kind of trust the algorithm a little bit better. So what we're going to do today, we're going to just kind of let the algorithm throw you into a breakout room. So you're going to get senators from West Campus, Polytechnic, from downtown, from Tempe. So all of you are going to be kind of from different places, and there is no actual assigned leaders. So what we want is one of you to step up and to just kind of begin introductions, and then talk to your colleagues about what are the top 3 issues you would like to see the University Senate address this year, right? So that's kind of the charge. We're going to have about 15 minutes in the breakout rooms. So, we can play it by ear, but it's for the most part 15 minutes. So again, first introductions and then the question. And the idea behind the breakout rooms is for you to start to get to know each other and your colleagues at different campuses, but also to address what is top of mind for you. And the idea is that once we come back from the breakout rooms, one of you, the leader that stepped up will be able to give us kind of like a 2-minute review of what happened, of the conversation that went on in the breakout room. So we
So
have-
Letty, if I can jump in just very
Yes.
quickly, just to
Go right
clarify.
ahead.
So the question number 2 is not to limit your discussion to only 3. It's to start the discussion. You may have 5 collectively, you may have 10. That may happen, but I don't want anyone to feel that somehow you've got to just limit it to 3. Again, it's just a question to get the conversation started.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and initiate the breakout rooms, and let's see. We're gonna assign automatically. So here you go. Let's see. Open all rooms. Maybe we shouldn't have trusted the algorithm. There you go. Okay. I think this is us now.
Maria, it looks like everyone is in breakout room number 1.
Oh, stop it. Really?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Hold on here. Huh? You go ahead and do it. Do you know?
Maria, did you mean to send about 80 people to one room?
No. Maybe we shouldn't have trusted the algorithm. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. See, this is the fun. Let me see, where is it? I'm gonna break it out into multiple rooms, which is what I wanted. Okay, Alzira, since you're the expert in the breakout rooms, can you send them to their breakout rooms?
We're being sent to our rooms.
Yes, these are fun rooms though. Okay, oh boy. Apologies.
Hi,
everyone.
I'm late. Can you send me to a breakout room?
Yeah, this is
Sorry
it.
about that.
Oh, you're
Try.
good.
Not working.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Let's try this again. I hope we're not all in one.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's working.
Yeah, that still didn't work.
Yes.
How many are you trying to have per breakout room?
10. Well, I want 10 rooms, and then for the algorithm to just kind of put them automatically. I totally tried this last time and it worked. Let me see. Okay, I know what I'll do. You're in room 10? Yeah. Okay.
So I think they have to join.
Do you have does anybody, when you see the breakout room, do you have an option to kind of choose a room?
No, it's
No.
just room 1.
All one.
Okay, let's see. So, okay, I know what I'm doing. No, I don't actually, but I pretend I do. Give me 1 second. Okay, good. I don't know why. Let's see.
Maria, perhaps we could do this. Why don't we have Al Zero work on this while we just go ahead with the presentation?
Yeah.
And if she is confident, we can try it at the end. And if it doesn't work, then we can call it a day. How does that work?
Perfect. I love it.
Okay.
Yep, that works for me. Let's see here. Close my door.
Eduardo, this is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Another thing we could do is just throw ideas in the chat for you.
Very true. Thank you.
Are we ready? Are you able to do it?
So, okay, that will be our backup. But I'd love to have you chat. But if that doesn't work, then we'll just throw it in the chat.
Yeah,
And
at least you'll have a record of it.
Yeah,
Save
yeah.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So the breakout room was interesting, wasn't it? So thank you everyone for being patient. We did test it, but obviously, as many things happen with technology, sorry, I keep hearing myself. So the role of the senators, right? So this pertains to you. So Eduardo talked about the overall and the macro of the organization, starting with ASU, starting with how who runs the Senate. But really, the role of the senator is exactly what you are starting to do. Let me share my presentation, actually. There we go. So this is, the role of the senator. Again, it pertains to you. So the first thing we want to, we broke it down into 8 different, bullets, but it's really about talking and listening to the individuals within your academic unit. So the idea that you have been selected as the individual in your particular academic unit to be the voice of that unit. So a major role of yours as a senator is to listen and to talk to the individuals, and then bring some of that information to the Senate, whether it's through, sending an email to the office about an issue, or to the president or your campus president. It's also about, sending communication. What happened at the meetings, at the monthly meetings? We know that not every faculty can attend the monthly meetings, even though they're public. You are there every month, and you want to bring some of this information back to your colleagues. The second thing is to attend monthly meetings. These are held, for the most part, they don't quite work like that every single month because of holidays, but it's usually the very last Monday of the month. And these are the Senate meetings where curriculum proposals are voted on, where agendas and different resolutions are presented. Number 3 would be to serve. So Eduardo talked about, the committees. These are the committees that, are staffed by senators. So around end of August, beginning of September, the committee and committee chair will send out a preference survey. This preference survey will pretty much have all of the committees that are standing within the Senate. And then from there, you get to choose which one of those committees you would prefer to serve on. The committee and committee chair does a great job in trying to put you in your first preference, second preference, but a lot of the times it's wherever the need may be. We want to make sure that every committee has really good representation from all different campuses. So perhaps you don't get your first or your second choice, but perhaps you get, placed in a committee that you didn't even select, but that's part of the the role of the senator to sit in those committees and to serve in that capacity. Review course proposals. So every month, around the second week of the month, you're going to get a new course proposal. The list varies. We receive it from the curriculum programs committee, and we send those out to you for review. We send them out 2 weeks before the Senate meeting, so that way you have this acts as a first read. You get to review them, and if you see any concerns, you reach out to either the CAPC chair, to the campus president, or to myself. You also review the policy motions that come through the Senate. So these come in forms of resolutions that perhaps the committees have worked on through RFCs. And this is kind of the process, the job of the senator. Again, attend and promote attendance at the academic assembly. Speaking of the academic assembly, ours is next Tuesday. So August 24th is the academic assembly. Not next Tuesday, in 2 weeks. August 24th is the academic assembly. This is an opportunity for you and for your colleagues to attend. This is where the president traditionally addresses the academic assembly. President Crow and Provost Gonzalez have already been confirmed, and they were going to be speaking and sharing remarks. This is a great time for you to be there and for you to invite your colleagues to attend as well. This year, we're going to have that event virtually and in person. So it'll be a hybrid. So every campus is going to have a location where you can go and you can kind of mingle. There are large rooms, and there you can spread out, but you can also join virtually if that's how you prefer. The next thing is to encourage colleagues to visit the University Senate website. Alzira and I would try to do a good job in keeping everything really updated and current on the website. So University Senate website is up to date with a lot of resources, some of what Eduardo mentioned earlier, the ACDC, the Constitution. You can also get a roster of who is serving in the Senate by campus. So if you go to the website, you can choose a campus and it tell you who the senators are. Those are your colleagues. So about with regards to terminology, I know that sometimes we say acronyms and we don't know what they are, or they don't make sense. So an RFC is a request for consultation. An RFC is really it's the process by which the Senate does its work. So anyone can make a request for consultation. It could be by a senator. It could be one of your colleagues in your unit to say, you know what, I find this to be an issue. Can you bring it to the Senate? And once an RFC has been created, based on the topic or the issue, it will be assigned to a committee. That committee will then begin to work that by contacting the appropriate persons and try to find a resolution for that issue. Sometimes those issues are resolved by a couple of emails and phone calls. Other times it requires a lengthier process where it results into a resolution. So how do you bring up or submit an RFC? You bring it up to discussion during the open forum during Senate meetings. Again, every month you have the opportunity through the open forum to bring up an issue that is happening in your units that you have been made aware of, or something that you personally are experiencing. So these are ways that you can bring it up. The other way is to bring it up to your Senate president or to the campus president or any member of the UAC, or to me here at the Senate office or to Alzira. So these are the ways that you can bring up any of those issues. And once you bring it to our attention, we create an RFC, we assign a number, we put it in our database, and we begin to track it by assigning it to a committee. Committees meet monthly, and once they have the RFCs, they provide updates to the Senate office as well. And we're able to then keep the database updated. So at any moment, we can provide an update as to where in the process is that RFC. The Senate terminology, the formal process that for the RFCs is, as you see here in this graph. There are two ways that you can the RFC can go a formal way or a consultative way. This one, the University Senate will handle it again by assigning it to a committee or to a task force. It will also, again, if it's the formal way, it will result and develop into a motion or into a resolution that gets brought into the Senate for a final vote for voting. The consultative process, this is something that gets handled by either by the Senate President, the UAC, or the office staff. Again, it gets assigned to a committee, and the committee then meets regularly and begins to work on that issue. Sometimes this can develop, if it's a consultative, it will develop into a more formal, which is when it turns later on into a resolution, which later requires a vote in the Senate. So some of the most frequent, and I'm going to ask more organic questions from everyone. Hopefully everybody had an opportunity to read the policy and procedures manual that I sent out last week. And if you reviewed it, and if you read, and if you have any questions, we can discuss some of those questions. But these are more of frequently asked questions, which hopefully will answer some of the questions, but we can take questions live as well. So some of the questions are, when do I start my term and how long? Your term officially begins in June 1st. We understand the faculty have a 9-month contract and that you're not necessarily working during the summer. That's the official start time. The official beginning is the orientation, such as right now. This is what kind of kicks off your term, but officially your term begins June 1st and it ends on May 31st. The academic assembly, again, is something that happens annually, and in this case, it's actually the 24th. That's a typo. So August 24th, and it'll be from 3 to 5. At 3:30, the program will start, but at 3 o'clock, those attending, wanting to attend in person, can go to a location at your particular campus where they will have some prepackaged hors d'oeuvres or something to or cocktails. That starts at 3 o'clock, the reception component, and at 3:30, we will have the actual program, which will be kicked off by Eduardo welcoming the assembly, which later on will transition into President Crow and Provost Gonzalez sharing some remarks. The first meeting for the University Senate is on August 30th, and this one is at 3 o'clock from 3 to 5. And again, it'll be a hybrid. The expectation or the recommendation, is we're going to have rooms. We have rooms where you can go and where you can attend in person, but we will also be providing Zoom links. So if you are not able to attend in person, you will be able to attend via Zoom in the Senate meetings. Where are the meetings held? So these are the locations where the Senate meetings are held. The schedule for the entire academic year is on the website under 2021-2022 Senate meeting schedule, and it's on the website. For downtown, UCent room 282 is the location. For Polytechnic is the Santan 122. For Tempe is the EDC 117, and the West is for the Fab S101. Again, these are locations where the campus presidents will be presiding at, and you can attend at those locations or you can attend virtually. Do you want to say anything on that, Eduardo, or is that okay to advertise it as such?
Oh, no, I think you're fine. Excuse me, I think you're fine. There's nothing I need to add.
Okay, perfect. What if you miss a meeting? We understand that, there's conflict for various reasons. Senators, when they're elected by their units, they should be excused from Monday afternoon classes just because of the commitment of attending meetings. But sometimes that is not a possibility. The schedules don't work out that way. So the way you can do it is you notify myself, and you can notify my office. Either I'll zero myself and you let me know that you're not going to be in attendance, but that you have a substitute. So the best thing to do is to find a colleague who can attend for you that one time, and you give me the name of that colleague so that we can then add them to the sign-in sheet into the roster so that we can keep track of the attendance of the senators for that particular unit. It's important, as you can imagine, that we have quorum present. Without quorum, we're not able to conduct the meeting, we're not able to hold business, we're not able to vote. So it's important that whether it's you or a colleague on your behalf is able to attend and is present at each of the meetings. Again, 3 unexcused absences may result in the removal of the Senate. Usually we have in a year 8 meetings. So if you miss 3, it's a lengthy. Every semester we have 2 meetings. We have 4 meetings. So if you miss 3 of those, it kind of adds up. So again, if you're going to be absent for some reason, send us a sub. You can again mention it to you can let Azira know or myself. If you're going to be going on sabbatical, same thing. I know we have many senators who it's a 3-year term. So we understand that within those 3 years of service, you may take a semester for sabbatical. We have many senators in that right now. So again, just planning ahead and telling us who your substitute is going to be for that time that you're on sabbatical. Just communicating with the office is how that is what works best. So once I arrive at the Senate meeting, what do I do? In the Tempe campus, because it is the largest campus, we have actual assigned seating. And when you get to our to the room ECD 117, you will have the nameplate. So you will be able to see the nameplate with your name, with your last name, and you just kind of sit, and we're gonna we're gonna spread out those tents to make sure that there's ample room between you and another person. But you want to go in there and look at the seating chart so you can kind of locate where your tent is, and you just sit in front of that tent and it has your name, and that's how you find your seat. For the downtown Phoenix campus, the Polytechnic, and the West campus, the rooms are smaller, but we did get them larger this year, but it's still smaller than the Tempe location. So there's no assigned seating, it's open seating, but we will have name tents as well that you can pick yourself and put them in front of you, to identify yourself to your other colleagues. So the Senate meetings are run in the Tempe campus by the university president. He, in this case, Eduardo will be here at Tempe, and Phil Vandermeer will be, right next to him, and we'll have the parliamentarian, and we have the Tempe campus president, past president, and president-elect as well, and then the senators. These are the persons that run the meeting. I'm also there running the quorums, running the polls, running the presentations. So I'm also at the Tempe location. So, how do you speak at a Senate meeting? So during in-person meetings, so I'm going to talk a little bit about in-person first, and then I'll talk a little bit about the virtual world. So in person, you want to, whenever you want to address the Senate, there is a set time during the agenda portion where it's an open forum, and you can bring up any, you can speak at that time. In the case of the Tempe location, you would go up to the mic and you would, take the mic and you would ask to speak. The Senate president would then give you the floor and you can raise your issue. In other campuses, it could be a similar where you either raise your hand or you just notify the presiding campus president at that moment that you wish to speak. And, the Senate president will then notify Eduardo that the Tempe campus or the Polytechnic has a question. And for the most part, we go around asking each campus if there's any questions or concerns. The other way to speak is if, if someone is giving a presentation and you have questions, for the most part, Eduardo will always give an opportunity and go campus to campus asking if there's any questions or concerns. The main thing for a senator is to let your campus president know that you have a question, so that then they can notify myself or Eduardo, so that we can then give you the floor to speak and bring up that issue. If you are virtually, the best way to do it is to send a chat to your campus president and say, I have a question, and either type the question on the chat so that the campus president can read it out loud on your behalf, or you can ask to read the question yourself. It's something that you can work out with your campus president, how you want to have the question raised. So how do you get into a Senate standing committee? As I mentioned earlier, early September, the Committee on Committees chair will send out a preference survey. In that preference survey, we recommend that every senator fill it out, put in their preference in order of, preference, what committee they would like to serve in. Again, we do every effort to assign to their first or second choice, but sometimes, because we want to make sure that there's equal representation across the board from every discipline and from every campus, sometimes we do need to put you in a committee that you haven't selected. We just kind of thank you in advance for being flexible with that. We want to staffing the committees and making sure that there's equal representation across the board can be very tricky, especially if there are the campuses that have lesser, that are smaller and that don't have as much representation. We also, so once you submit that preference survey, you would then be assigned to a committee, and then the committee chair will send you an email and welcome you into that committee. Senators who are not placed on a committee are considered to be on standby, and if there's any conflicts, then we're able to kind of do finalizing of staffing of those committees, and we can then assign you to a committee if there is some changes that we need to make. Okay, so where do I get Senate information? So it's pretty much the same group of folks that Eduardo just kind of covered earlier. The university website, again, is updated with current information, but you can also send me an email. You can send Alzira an email. You can reach out to Eduardo, to Phil, or to any of your campus presidents. Really, that is the best way to communicate with us. But again, an easy email to me, maria.coca@asu.edu. I will answer your questions, and I will, forward your question. I will make sure that it gets addressed. Let's see. Okay, so the portion of the questions is kind of finished, but I do want to mention that we do have a Twitter at USenate ASU. I encourage all the senators who have Twitter to start following us, to start it's another way. We're here in the office, we're going to try to be more up to date, more current with doing updates. This is another way that we can share information with our colleagues, that we can share information that's going on at the Senate and ASU, and this is a way to also highlight the work that the Senate is doing.
All right, so Maria, where are we in terms of the breakout? Do you think we can do that?
I think we can.
We'll give it one more shot.
All right.
Questions in the chat, by the way.
Oh, are there? Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and look at those questions first before we do the breakout.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Okay, so if I needed to miss, could I give my proxy to my co-senator for my unit rather than assign another substitute? So proxy votes are not, you have to be present to vote. So your substitute who attends on your behalf will have the voting power for you. So you can only vote if you are present, and Phil or somebody else can correct me if that is correct, but we do not have proxy votes. I see Phil shaking his head, which you're muted.
It's, the Senate is a deliberative body, and there's assumption that senators attending will listen and be able to make decisions, not just prepackaged, but they'll listen to debate, and that's why there's no proxy voting.
Perfect. Does that answer your question, Alexander? We'll take the silence as a yes. The other question is, if you have been elected to a committee, do you also get assigned to another committee? I think I understand that. So what you're asking is, if you're already serving in one committee, can you then be assigned to a second committee? No. Ideally, we want you to serve in one committee. So if you have already, for example, last term, you were part of one committee, you will then continue to serve your second term in that committee. And so what we do here at the Senate office is we create the rosters, and folks and members that have a continuing term, we keep them there. So then we realize how many vacancies we have, and then that's how many people we're going to assign to that committee. But for the most part, one senator will serve in one committee at a time. So those are the only questions that I see. Does anybody else have a question right now that we can answer before we go into breakout rooms?
Yes. If you're absent, can your co-senator fill in for you, or you still need to find someone to fill your absent position? Just want to clarify that.
Great question. So the idea is that you do want to assign a substitute, because this is so if your unit is large enough to have 2 senators, you have 2 votes, you have 2 voices. So you wanna make sure that you capture both of those voices. If it's a last minute emergency, I understand that something happens and you're not able to find someone to substitute for you, that's fine. But we do recommend that if it's a planned absence, or if it's someone that you can call on at the last minute, that would be the preference. The main thing is communicating that to the office so that we can keep track of the attendance.
Thank you. There's one more in the chat.
Any other questions?
There's one more from Suzanne, who I think is joining us from Germany, if I remember correctly. Will the invites for the Senate meetings? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I don't know how stable my internet is, so that's why I sent it out in the chat. I didn't see the invites on my calendar for the Senate meetings. I was wondering if I missed them, are they still going to be sent out, or we won't have those?
A word question. So we typically don't send out through an Outlook for the Senate meetings. It's a large body, it's a large group of people, but the schedule for the entire academic year is on the website. And we recommend that you, if I'm happy to send out an Outlook, to be honest. Like, if you feel that is there's just a lot of members in that group. If you prefer that I send it out to all of the senators, I'm happy to do that. If you want to just kind of jot down the schedule and kind of put it on your on Outlook, what's the consensus? Give me virtual hands so that I can see.
Oh, Maria, if at all possible, please, let's do it.
All right. Well,
But with the caveat, I want to share this with the senators as well. Phil, you know this very well. The lists that we have is a moving target. It's not complete. It's an ongoing problem. So it's possible that you may not receive it. Again, just as backup, please go to the website, usenate.asu.edu, and make sure that there's a link for all of the meetings. Make sure that you've got that. Just so that you've got that on your calendar. So don't depend solely on the invite. Again, that's just an ongoing problem at ASU.
Exactly. And also, the agenda gets sent every Friday before the Senate meetings. And in the agenda, you have the Zoom link and you have all the pertinent information and you have all of the motions that's going to be voted on. So, so we do have a list, but to Eduardo's point, it is a moving target. Sometimes, again, you're going to be absent and I don't have the email from your substitute. So it's a lot of different components. So the main thing is have that schedule on your calendars as senators. That's kind of the set schedule. We will do our due diligence and help out with Outlook requests so that they're there. We will send an agenda before the meetings, but ultimately it is your responsibility to jot those dates down and to make sure that you or somebody is present at those meetings. Any other questions?
All right, if our chat room works, I think we've got just enough time to pull that off. Let's give it a shot. If not, then I have a few closing comments I'd like to share.
Okay, Alzira, we're ready.
Okay, here we go.
Right. Maria,
Yes.
can you hear me? This is Ann Sebring. I may have missed it. Did we go over the iClicker information?
No, that's coming next.
Okay, so we'll have time for that. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, hi, Pauline. Let's see. Okay, so I think, let me see if I can go ahead and assign this. We're not technically a room, so let me see. Do you, Pauline, Ron, Thomas, and David, do you have an option to join a room, or this is the room that you were placed on? Can you guys hear me? So in this room, can you guys hear me?
I hear you. I'm
Okay.
sort of not paying close attention to things. I'm multitasking,
Are you? Okay, let me
but
see.
I've been a senator before, so I have a pretty good idea of what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead, if that's okay, assign you to, let me see which room. I'm gonna go ahead and do. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and assign you to room number 5, okay, Thomas?
Okay, room 5.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go there, this thing will go automatically to room 5.
Yeah, there should be a little, the little
Oh, yeah.
pop up
Well,
there.
actually, I'm
just
in
say
room
join.
6 at the moment, I think.
Okay, go ahead and join
No,
that.
wait. It says room 5. Yeah, no, I can't. The letters, yeah, I'm in room 5 at the moment. Okay, I already went out. Apparently it moved me over there.
It still kept you here. Are you able to click on that where it says join?
Um, um,
Let me see if I can.
yeah,
Okay, can you click join or go to breakout room? Okay. Okay, Alzira, I think we are. Hi, did you leave your room? Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on.
Sorry, I got kicked out of the Zoom room before the breakout rooms. Would you mind putting me in a breakout room?
Which room were you in?
I wasn't. I got disconnected.
Oh, okay. I'll put you in one right now. The one I'll put you on room number 2.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
There you go. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Maria.
So I log into my iClicker. It says student. Do I need to go to a different?
So you would sign in as the instructor first to make sure that it's,
Okay, let me see. Is there, it takes me back to the same one to sign in. Oh, instructor, okay. That's that. Okay, perfect. So I'm in my Senate. And I have a good amount of people were added. I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and start to bring back folks, because right now they're on breakout rooms. And
Okay.
then once they come back from breakout rooms, we're gonna take just about 5 minutes to kind of debrief on some of those, the breakout rooms, what they talked about. And then we're gonna do the presentation and just kind of, a lot of people already, like I said, joined the class. So it'll be a matter of maybe you or Jody explaining a little bit about what iClicker works, and then we can do the test. And I have 2 questions that
well, so I do have a call that's supposed to start at, well, I guess it's 11:30 your time. So I can be a little bit late to that, but I'll need to go kind of quickly from my side.
Sure. Is Jody or anybody else able to join?
I think Jody is going to, but
Okay. Yeah, it's really it's a lot of the people, everybody kind of is already here. So I guess it's a matter of opening it up so that they can attend the class, I guess, or
yeah. So I would go ahead if you want to go ahead and start just the session as the instructor. Like if you have the software, you go ahead and just start class. And you don't have to start an actual question yet, but that way people can go ahead and start joining.
if you do not regret it. Yes, I want to set up my location. Yes.
Yeah, you probably don't want to set the location for this since you have people outside of the classroom.
Okay. So right now it's saying that it's active class and.
Okay.
So are folks able to then, once they join, do I need to send them a join code or anything?
So they should have the join code from the website or from the article that you shared with them. I saw there were a number of people on there earlier. And so if they have that, they should be able to join. They may already have, but I'll click that link and show them how to do it. So they should be okay, good to go.
Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to bring them in right now. Give
Okay.
them a moment. Let's see. I think close all rooms. Okay, it kind of gives them a. Hi, Jody.
Hello.
Maria, how many breakout rooms do we have?
We had, I believe, 10. We had 10.
And breakout rooms. And so we're now approaching 11:25.
And we do have, I do want to take time to go over the iClicker. It's the new system that we're going to be using for voting. So I think it's important that we do that. So if I know that originally I had said that this was going to be until 12:30, I was trying to be generous and give back some time. If you all in turn could be generous with us again and give us at least 10 more minutes of your time, it would be really appreciated. So perhaps ending at 11:40, if that's okay.
Do you really think all we need is 10 minutes?
Well, if we do the iClicker right now, we could start to take the attendance, and then 10 minutes or so, or however much time the senators are willing to give us.
Eduardo, can I make it a suggestion? We had quite an interesting discussion with a lot that came up, so I'm sure everybody did. I'm wondering if maybe you're going to save the chat, Maria, right? Maybe if one from each group in the chat wrote the main topics that came up, so it's captured, because we're not going to have time to all talk about it. Is that okay to put it in the chat?
Yeah, I mean, if everybody is okay with, you know, I would like to. I think it's important that we do want to hear back some of that feedback, but I do really want to also do the iClicker. It's really important that we test that component right now, since it is a new system, and I want to make sure that everybody knows how to use it, knows how to join the class, and is able to vote, you know, in the motions. So Eduardo, if
yeah, what do you think you can take care of that rather quickly, and then we can move over to then the feedback?
yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I have Jody and Colin joining us. They are the experts in the iClicker. Right now, you will notice that I have opened up or started class, which is University Senate Academic Year 2021-2022. I see 12 people have checked in. So if you were able to add the course, which I know a lot of you did, I have actually the roster here, so thank you. If you are able to join the class right now, so we have 24. Colin, Jody, you can also maybe provide additional instructions how this can be done.
Yeah, I can do that. Maria, if you can allow me to share my screen, I'll do that.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. So I am Colin Williams. I'm with iClicker, the client relationship specialist. So I work with campus there to make sure that iClicker is supported for any questions that you may have. I believe that Maria shared this out with everybody, so you may have already seen this come through. But if you are able to look at this, you can see that there is a quick join button, so you can actually join this pretty quickly. And you'll actually sign in with SSO, so you'll be able to sign in with your Canvas account. So if you'll click on that link, you can click on joiniclicker.com. It should take you over to the course. You'll click Let's Go. And once you do that, you'll see that it is added to your course here. If it asks you to sign in, you'll do that with your Canvas account. And you should see right here, once you've joined into the course, you'll see this button up here that says join. This is how you'll actually get into the class, the session that you're going with. And so
I'm missing step one. Step one is to go to Canvas.
Yeah, so let me sign out from here and I'll show you what it'll look like.
I believe Jody also put the link on the chat.
What was the link on the chat?
So let me go back over to here, try this again, because for whatever reason, it logged me directly in.
Just real quick on the link that Jody placed in the chat, it's not opening for me. I'm wondering if Jody can put that back in there for us. Thank you. Yeah, and let me know if you're still having any issues. It should be available and accessible to everyone.
Sorry, I don't know why it's logging me back in automatically. Okay, so it should take you over to the screen. And if you see this here, you'll see down at the bottom, there's a drop-down menu that says select an institution. Obviously, you'll choose Arizona State and go. And this will take you over to Canvas. This is what I was talking about, the single sign-on. So it'll take you over to Canvas. And in my case, it keeps signing me in because I'm already signed in through Canvas. So it may do that for you as well. But you'll just
Okay, if
sign
I go
in.
to Canvas, what do I do next?
No, I don't think it's going to take them to Canvas, Cullen.
Okay, so it's
They're
not
going
taking
to
them over
go to the sign on page for ASU.
Okay.
So it should just take you to sign in with your ASU credentials.
So you go to my ASU?
No, if you would open the link that's in the chat, and there is under add the Senate course via quick join, there's a link that you can just click on, and that's what Cullen was just showing.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
there we
it's
go.
Already
this link
added
right
the
here.
course, but not.
Okay,
I
so
can't get to it is the problem now.
okay, so if you've added the course, you can just the quickest way, you can click that link as well, and it'll take you back over there. But you can also just go right here to iClicker.com and then click right up here under sign in up at the top. And if you've already done this once, it'll likely sign you in automatically, and that's great.
iClicker.com is the key. That's the thing.
Yes, yeah, sorry. And then you'll sign in as a student. And you'll see it should, if you've already signed in before, it'll bring you right here to your page. And this is what you're going to be looking for.
Are we signing in as students, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. And then so once you click that, you'll be able to click on the course. You'll see kind of your information here, but what you're going to be looking for is there's a join button that'll pop up, and you will just check in there. And so now as soon as Maria starts asking questions, once you see this little area that says you're checked in, you should start seeing questions pop up as they are asked. Just so you know, you can also sign in if this is easier for you. At some point, you can download our iClicker student app and actually do this from your phone or tablet as well. So if you want to be paying attention to Zoom and you don't want to be, transitioning back and forth between tabs, you can do this on your phone as well through the iClicker student app. So
Colin, there's a question that they're being asked to link an account. I'm being asked to link an account. What is that about?
If you have already created an iClicker account, we would link to that. But if you haven't created an iClicker account yet, you don't need to link to anything already. You can just create new account. And then, like I said, if it does, and it looks like it's not doing it, but if it does kick you over to Canvas, you would just sign in with those Canvas credentials, and then it'll bring you back to iClicker. But again, it doesn't look like it's doing that. So you don't need to link to any current account unless you already have an iClicker account.
Perfect. So right now we show that we have 61 checked in. We have about 72 participating members, not counting Ozira and I. So Colin, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now for the question so that we can test the actual poll. As we do that, if you still need to continue to check in, we have 61 members right now. Here we go. So is this how it would work, Colin? Just kind of having the presentation up?
Yeah, you have the presentation up, and then if you will go to your iClicker toolbar, and you should, if you can kind of hover it over the screen here so that everybody can see the toolbar and the timer and everything, and then you can go ahead and click, start question, the green button. So polling, and then the green start question button.
Okay. Oops, it is. So if I start polling here, does it have to be on top of on the same screen?
It doesn't have to if you have the newest version, if you have iClicker 5.2, but if you haven't updated recently, you'll want to hover it over the question just so the system knows where to take the screenshot.
Okay, is it doing it now? I don't see that it is.
I don't see your toolbar.
I'm seeing you're checked in, but I'm not seeing anything else.
Yeah, so you won't see the actual toolbar on your screen yet. As soon as she starts a question, you'll see the question pop up. So the question hasn't actually been started yet.
Oh, okay.
It says were you starting a class? It says to try again. It's not picking up my question.
Like I said, I'm not seeing your toolbar on there.
Let me see here. Start a quiz. It's not. It's
So
not
you're not going to do quiz. You're not going to do quizzing. It's going to be polling.
polling. Okay, I get the same things as we are starting your class. The Clicker Cloud desktop application should launch in a few seconds.
So this is where, yeah, when we were talking about the other day, you want to launch directly from the desktop software because your pop-up blocker may be stopping it from opening. So if you have the desktop software, you probably want to open that automatically or directly.
That's what I thought. I am on my desktop.
Right, but the software that you downloaded onto your computer. So not at the website, on the actual desktop software.
Okay, then it's probably not, it's not launching it from there. Let me see.
So the only person who needs to have the desktop software is the person who's actually running the poll. If you're doing this as a student, you can, like I said, you can go to just iClicker.com through a Chrome browser is fine. Anybody who's looking for buttons, there shouldn't be any buttons yet because the question hasn't actually been started. So you're not missing anything. As long as it says that you're checked in, you should be good to go as soon as we get a question going.
Okay, for the sake of time, I think
So I'll tell you what, give me.
I'm not able, if you're able to do it from your end there and just kind of so that everybody can see what it will look like on their screen to vote.
Yeah, let me do that real quick. Let me pull that up.
So we have 66 checked in. Let's see.
Yeah, 1 second and I'll. Okay. So just so you're all aware, and let me go ahead and move this over so I can.
Should I stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, well, actually, no. If you'll share your screen so that way I can actually have the question on there so everyone can see that. But what we will look for is, so if you have the question. Okay, so there's going to be a toolbar. Obviously, since I'm not sharing my screen, you won't quite see it. But what I will be able to do is show you the question. So as I.
Oh, here we go.
One second. Okay, my toolbar is behind something. Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry. All right, so I'm going to start the question now. So now you should start seeing a question on your screen.
Hey, there we go.
And now you should start seeing buttons down at the bottom for you to answer.
Can we get some feedback? What are you guys seeing on your screen?
I'm seeing question one and basically a picture of Maria's screen and then alternatives A, B, C, D, E down below. So I click on where I'm from, something should happen.
Yes, yeah. So you have the choices A, B, C, and D, and you can choose one of those to be correct.
And it came back and said answer received.
Yep, that's exactly right. That's what you should be looking for there. And so as far as anybody who is worried about absences, those can be deleted later. So that's just a matter of getting things kind of tested and going here. So we have 50 responses so far. It looks like we're got about 30-ish people still kind of waiting to answer. So yeah, if you answer E, I guess we're probably not giving performance points here. So
So we're able to see, the person running the poll is able to see how many have answered correctly.
Yeah, so you can see the poll, and if Maria, if you want to let me share my screen real quick, I can do that, and everyone can see the poll or what the feedback looks like. So let me move this over. So here's what people are, or what Maria will be able to see, and she can actually show this to you during class once this is going. But you can see how people are responding, and you can obviously see the timer here. So you won't see the timer on your actual iClicker app if you're using the phone or whatever the case may be. But she can share this out to everybody, so you can see this in real time. So these are the results, and you can see how many people have responded. And yeah, so as somebody is seeing there, you can change your answer as much as you want as long as this timer is still running. But as soon as that stops, everyone's kind of locked in.
Perfect. Can we do the second question? Just
Yep.
maybe.
Let me go ahead and stop sharing so you can bring that back up, and I can do that.
So the second question, this would be it.
Alrighty, so.
Oh yeah, hit results and you get the results. There we go.
Yep. So here's the second question going now. So you should see hopefully the question with the answers there. And so if you're looking on Zoom, it may not be as helpful to necessarily look at the actual screenshot itself, but if you can see the answer choices there, and you can look at Zoom and kind of see what the answers are. But after class, you're actually able to zoom in to that screenshot, so you can see what the question was during class. And obviously, if I'm not screenshotting over a Zoom presentation, it'll be a little bit bigger as well. So
Can we see how many have answered the question so far?
yeah, so we have 44 responses, and if you want to share or stop sharing, I can share and we can look at that.
So once the question is launched, do we need to continue to share the presentation with the question in order for the poll to continue to be open, or it'll continue to be open?
It'll continue to be open with that same screenshot as long as the timer is still running. So as soon as you stop that, then they won't see the screen. Well, they can still actually see that screenshot after the question's closed. They just won't be able to answer.
Okay. And for purposes of capturing the results, we can see that we have the number of actual votes and then the percentages. This is important because the secretary obviously takes note of this, of the voting, and then also my office. So that way we're able to then compare. And is it true that I'm able to access this report afterwards to kind of compare to make sure that we have the right voting numbers?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see it afterwards. And everyone, as long as you leave the results open to everyone, they can see the results as well. So you wouldn't, the individual members of this group, they wouldn't necessarily see how everybody voted personally, but they can see the percentages. And then from the administrator perspective, you could export that data if you wanted to kind of see, answers or however.
Okay, perfect.
Let me go ahead and stop this. And then since that's the last one, I'll go ahead and end this. There is the option also to, when you end this, to end with an exit poll if anybody has any feedback they need to give as well. So I'll do that just so you can see it. And I know Jody mentioned this in the chat. It's in there. There is a link to the ASU specific page for iClicker that has some information on this as well. By all means, reach out to me, to Jody, to Maria. We can get answers for you on any questions you may have about this. Even if you decide you maybe want to use this in class as well, but even from from your side of this as the quote unquote student, we can help you make sure you're all on board.
Perfect. Thank you. So Does anyone have questions about this? We're gonna, this is the first time for me using this software, so we're gonna work out some of the kinks. But on the voting side, did it seem pretty straightforward, pretty easy once you join the class?
Yeah.
Yes, but I have a question. If you are attending meeting in person, you still vote this way?
Correct. Yes.
So we have to carry our computer or phone or whatever.
a laptop, an
Yes.
iPad, a phone.
So if it's easier, if you have your phone with you already, we have an app in both the Google Play Store and the iTunes Store. So the App Store there. So you can download that. You'll log in the same way in terms of you'll choose Campus Portal down at the bottom. You'll choose Arizona State, and then you'll just sign in with your campus credentials there. But yeah, you don't have to carry around your full laptop for it every time. You can bring your phone, or if you have an iPad that you want to bring, you can do that as well. And any smart device that has a web browser on it, you can also sign in on that. So even if you have a phone or something that doesn't specifically support that app, you can do it on any web browser.
Okay, thank you.
I have like 10 computers and I did this on one, but it doesn't seem to translate. So in each new computer, I have to download iClicker again.
So you shouldn't have to download anything new. The only person who has to download anything, for a student, is the only person who has to download anything is the person using it. Yeah, but if you're doing this as a member, as like a quote unquote student, like I said here, you can just go straight through the web browser. So Google Chrome or whatever, and you'll just sign in that way. You don't have to download anything.
I don't use Chrome, so.
Okay, so Firefox, I mean, any web browser allows the use of it.
Okay.
Just
Now,
by
the
going to
app is
iClicker.com.
The app we want is iClicker Student.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, well then, thank you so much, Jody, Colin. Truly appreciate your time and your flexibility. And I'll be reaching out for more questions if I have any.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Maria.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
So this concludes this portion of the program. So Eduardo, back to you.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Jody, Cullen, as well, Maria, and all of you for your patience as we work through this new technology. It seems to be the way of the future as we kind of grapple our way through these new systems. But thank you for your patience and your willingness to work with us. I suspect we'll probably have to take some time at the first Senate meeting as well, just to make sure that everything is working appropriately. So I just want to say by way of closing, I think everyone has reported in terms of their groups. Thank you for participating. Thank you for those who have shared some notes. What I'd like to do is like to pull this all together in a Google Doc, and at the very least, we will share it together with the UAC and the executive committee to see how we can then start to move forward on these issues of concern. Hopefully, we can make this available to all senators, and this will be a document that we'll continue to look at and revise as time goes on. And certainly, please feel free to contact me or any of your elected leaders as we continue to dialogue and work together. Here's the last thing I want to say about this, and I want to try and say this carefully because I don't intend this to be a testimonial of ASU per se, but over my years of working in the UAC and the faculty senate, I've worked with 4 provosts, including Nancy Gonzalez, Betty Phillips, Rob Page, Mark Searle, worked with President Crow as well. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is that I've had the opportunity, Phil has been there as well as some of you also, through some of the darkest times, at least that I've experienced in my professional career, in sitting across the table with the provost and with the president, and they listen very carefully to what we have to share with them. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because our work of representation is important. And I want you to know that we take it seriously on our end, but I'm gratified that I've worked with senior leaders at ASU that have also listened very carefully. And I think for those of you on the UAC now who've had the opportunity to meet with President Crow, I think you could also attest that he is one who listens very carefully to our concerns and our needs, and is willing to confront the issues that we bring to him. So again, I share this with you again, not as testimonial of them necessarily, although I'm grateful for their service, but just the importance of what we do, and the role of communicating constantly with the administration. So again, with that, I want to thank you. I look forward to working with you this coming year. We will stay in contact and in dialogue as we move forward.